Hello, hello, hello. Testing, testing. Good day, everybody. My name is Eric, and it's journaling time once again. And today we're going to have some fun. We're going to be planning some new adventures for ourselves. And this is one of the great things to do with journaling. We can kind of brainstorm anything in our lives. But I want to point this out before we start today. If there's anybody who happens to be new to journaling, and I know some people may get a little anxiety or they get a little scared or think, how am I going to write a full page? I get it. I used to be there too. So here's what I suggest you do. Just grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, pencil, whatever you have. If you happen to have a journal book, I would recommend try and get an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, or at least a book approximately 9 by 7, because that way you get enough volume of writing to get the benefits. But if you don't have that, that's fine. Journaling is very flexible. You can do whatever works for you. And if you're new to it, I recommend write with me. Write as long as I write until I finish the page on my end, and then stop. And if you happen to finish, wonderful. If you don't finish, that's okay too. The key is just to sit down and do it. And the only requirements are the following. Sit somewhere where you're not going to be interrupted, relatively quiet with no distractions. I would turn everything off and just have it quiet. If you have the video on, I have a nice kind of drone soundtrack that's nice to hear in the back when you're writing. It doesn't get in the way of your thoughts. And keep the pen moving. So really with journaling, don't worry about spelling, don't worry about format, don't worry about what to write, just keep the pen moving. A broader ballpoint pen or pen, I use gel, like a 1mm, I recommend as they move quickly. And if you happen to have like finer point pens, it doesn't move as fast. And the idea is to link up your hand with your thoughts and just let the stream of consciousness flow. Analogous to a musician soloing in a jazz band or something of that nature. You get the idea. So for today, the prompt is very simple, and it's one that I actually use in my weekly routine, which is plan your next adventure. What would be your next adventure? So when you're writing today, I want you to plan or think about where would you go, who would you go with, what would you do, what would you want to do. Be as detailed and descriptive as you can. What foods you want to eat. Would you, if you go, let's say, to South America, would you climb and hike somewhere? Would you like to see some ancient ruins, have dinner on the beach, lay on the beach? Whatever it may be as descriptive as you can. As I said in the last video, and I've mentioned before, perception orients belief, belief dictates action, action shapes the world. So we have to change our perception that we want to take this trip, that it's important to us, and then we can make it happen over a series of steps. But the first thing is we have to kind of visualize it. And journaling, as I keep saying, is one of the best ways to visualize things and get things in your subconscious, as well as many other processes as well too. So when you're writing, just write what comes to your mind. And if it starts to veer off on a tangent, let it go. Try and stay close to the prompt, but you never know what's going to end up, and that's part of the deal as well too. Before we begin, let me remind you, please like, share, comment, subscribe to channels, always appreciated. And if you have any prompt ideas, please leave them in the comment section. I'm always trying to find new ideas and see what people like. I'd love to hear from you guys. Anyways, without any further ado, let's get to our journaling for today. And for anybody new out there, one thing that I always recommend, if you're not writing in a journal book, most journal books will have some of these stuff. The ones that we sell on Amazon have the prompts built in. It has the date, so we'll put the date in, the time, the location, and then mood. And one added thing I always do in the very first sentence, think of it like an establishing. What is the day outside like? Is it sunny, rainy, things like that? Therefore, if you happen to review the journal in some future date and you want to read, you kind of get an orientation. You got the date, you got the time, you got the place, you got the mood, and you know what the day is like, and then you let it go. But just to kind of reiterate this, I'd say about 98% of the journal entries I write, I never read back. However, the 2-3% I do read, because there may be something significant that happened in my life, it's nice to see what I was thinking and how I dealt with it. And then I can compare it to see if I've made some growth. Anyways, enough of that. Remember, plan your next adventure. What would be your next adventure? Enjoy the process, everybody. Take care. Okay, everybody, I hope everything went well. I know, once again, with me, that as I was writing, that I was trying to describe my adventure I'd like to do, and it kind of transitioned into something else. And I realized that what I thought my adventure was about, which was more like physical things, activities I would do, where it would be, and kind of loosely what I would want to do, I realized that really what I would want to do is try and do an adventure with a group of people. I've been doing things on my own for so long now that I've kind of missed that. And I didn't even think that was possible. So like my weekend, when I try and plan little adventures for myself or things that I want to do in the future, I don't even think about trying to make it with somebody else. I'll take my dogs out, we'll go take a trip, do things like that. And I realized, wait a minute, I should be trying to find things that I can incorporate with more people. I didn't know that until I journaled. Because it's wide open, the tap, with our consciousness, as we said earlier, these things naturally kind of fall out from the subconscious. And this is, and the way to do that, and this is a very delicate thing, is to be non-restrictive, so no spelling, don't worry about grammar, don't worry about all that stuff I mentioned earlier, and just keep the pen flowing. And then while you're doing that, it starts coming out, and you just gotta let it come out. And that's when you know you're tapping into stuff. Plus, little side benefit for students, when you start getting to that point, that's when you're really connecting to your own voice or what you're thinking. And that's from there, it becomes much easier to articulate your thoughts. Anyways, I hope you're able to find some new adventures or some brainstorms. And if you do, I would take those and pull out the best parts of them, maybe write them in a list, or next step is make a little outline or start looking online where you could go. This is how we use journaling to kind of navigate our life on many spectrums of our life. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed everything. Hope to see you next time. Like, share, comment, and all that good stuff. Leave prompts, as I'm always looking for it. New prompts, new ideas, what people are interested in seeing or doing or whatever. And it's completely creative, so the sky's really the limit. And we'll see you next time, everybody. And remember, always enjoy the process. That's what life is. See you next time, everybody. Take care.